No children in your life.
No children, no boyfriend, no.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining the Good Vibes podcast. Today we have a great guest, one of our team members that have been with us for quite some time, Mardy Carranza. Mardy,
A long time.
Right? Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. It's been, I told Cesar, I'm like, hey, it's time to bring Mardy over. You know, she's huge on social media, so hopefully, your audience can share this episode.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Right?
Yep.
All right, so with that being said, Mardy, I know people wants to know more about you. Mm-hmm. Even though you've been with us for quite some time as a team member, I only know so much about Mardy, right? Mm-hmm. So let's get to know Mardy. Mardy, where are you from? And how long you been here in Phoenix and all the good stuff?
So I was born in Mexico, in Hermosillo, Sonora.
Okay.
And my family moved here when I was 2 because my grandpa got kidnapped.
No way.
Yeah, my grandpa got kidnapped. And so, they were scared, who wouldn't be scared, right?
Right.
So once they were able to rescue him, we moved to the U.S.
So how old you
I
were?
was 2.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was 2.
You've been here for most of your life,
Yeah,
right?
most of my life. And then what's crazy is my grandpa, this is what my parents told me, my grandpa, he always used to water the garden in his house every morning with me because I was the first, grandchild, like the only one. Yeah. And so I was the favorite, obviously. Yeah. Yes. And so the one day that he did not take me outside is the day they took him.
No way.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy to know because I have come across different situations with clients that that's the reason that they came over.
Yeah.
Because,
there's a lot of things that are happening over there.
More if you run a business. If you're a business owner, it's hard to run a business and you just got to be very careful.
Very careful.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a client that he's running his business from Phoenix in Mexico. So his business is still running.
I mean, not that it's not safe over there. It's just certain situations, or if you have money there, it's easier to get attacked.
Right? Because people get to know who you are, and if they can, kidnap you and make an extra buck. I mean, people are doing it.
Yeah,
they have been doing it. So that's I'm always afraid when I when I go to Mexico. I was trying to keep it on the download and
keep it on the download. Yeah. I always only post, like if I do post, it's like when I'm gone. So I take all my stories and then, once I leave, then I'll post it.
Right.
Because I'm not there anymore.
Yes.
So you can't come get me.
When you come back, right?
When I come back, yeah. When especially having kids, and even your girls, even though they're bigger, you're still protecting them. You still have to protect them,
Have you heard of those individuals that they're using, what's it called? It's basically it sounds like it's you talking to
yes.
You know what I'm
I think they use like not AI but like something where
it's kind of like an
voice.
AI voice that sounds like your voice, but it's really not. It's just somebody else like putting pressure on you to send ransom money.
Yeah. I actually got a call the other day.
You
no
did?
joke. Yeah, somebody pretending to be my cousin.
No way.
Yeah, he called me and it was like a Mexican number. So I'm like, oh, that's weird because, I don't have that much family in Mexico anymore, but everyone I do have, it's like their number saved.
Right.
So this guy calls me and he's like, hey, Mardy, how are you? In Spanish. And I'm like, who is this? Because it didn't sound like anybody I know.
Right.
And he's like, it's your cousin. You don't remember me? And then he was trying to get me to say a cousin's name to be like, oh, yeah, that's me. But pushing me to be like, you don't remember me? Come on. I'm going over there. I want to take you a present. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And I just hung up.
Did they try to call you back again or no?
Yeah, they did try to call me back and I blocked it.
Okay.
Because it was from WhatsApp. And I'm like, nope, this is scary. Yeah.
It has happened to me a couple of times. So one time, check this out. And this does not have anything to do with Mexico, okay, or that kind of calls. But it was a pretty strange call.
But the number was from here.
Yeah, from here.
Oh, okay.
They were trying to get some kind of they were trying to get money, right? It was it was kind of weird. But I was showing houses that happened like at least 10 years ago. So it's been happening for a long time. So I was showing houses, and from one showing to another, I picked up. Somebody called me, so I picked up my phone, and it was the IRS calling me because I owe money, and if I
That happened to me.
right, and they're like, if you don't pay now, we have a warrant for your arrest, and they're
Yeah.
coming, and we know where you work, and this is your address, and we have an officer going right now, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, well,
Yeah.
first of all, I never heard that the IRS will be calling to get
To threaten you and
to train
yeah.
you and get paid. So I called my CPA right after that call. I'm like, it caught me completely off guard. I'm showing houses, so I didn't even know what to think. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, let me call my attorney.
Yeah.
Like, I know what to do. So I call my CPA. So I'm like, hey, I just got this call, and is that legit? And she's like, Ruben, that's a fraud. They're just trying to make some
Well, you
money.
get scared, right? Because you're
I
like,
did,
wait,
yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
going to jail.
They're like, oh, I have officers such and such, and
Yeah.
they.
I got
send
that,
all-
but in a text message. And then I texted to my dad, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, it's a fraud. And I'm like, but it's because they're saying I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah, it was nerve wracking at the moment, but thankfully it was fake. So
Yeah.
and I pay my taxes, so we're
Yeah.
good.
I know.
We're
I was
good
like,
on
I don't owe taxes.
that. Yeah, right. So you moved to Phoenix when you were 2 years old. What part of town did you grow up?
I grew up in Mesa.
Okay.
So I've always been on the east side.
Okay.
Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert.
So as soon as you moved to the U.S., you guys ended up here in Phoenix.
Actually, I think we lived in Tucson for a little bit.
Okay.
I think, but I was so young.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, like I did grow up in Mesa, and then we ended up moving to Gilbert right before high school, and I went to Gilbert High School.
Okay.
So I grew up in Gilbert after that.
Okay. Perfect. Now, did you end up going to some kind of a college or?
I did go to college, but then I was like, I dropped out. And then
Yeah.
I became a realtor. So I went to college, and then I was studying for business.
Yeah.
And then I was doing business communication as well because I wanted to be on TV actually. Like I wanted to be like a TV host. That was
Yeah.
like my dream before wanting to become a veterinarian because I
Okay.
wanted to be a veterinarian.
So how do you go from a TV host to a vet?
No, so for like my dream since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
But then after I'm like, okay, I can't see like dogs dying and all of that, And it's funny because in school, I wouldn't be the kid that would get the kid books. I would get like the how to be a veterinarian, heart disease,
Right.
like all these books
Yeah.
to learn. And I
Yeah.
learned so much. But then I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to see the animal suffering.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, that's too much for me. And then the TV host, I think I just always liked to be, around people or just talking to people. And then when I used to model when I was younger, I would do a lot of like promotion modeling or just like different types of modeling. And I think that's where I liked being on TV.
Gotcha.
I did some stuff with Univision, Telemundo, growing up when I was like 18, 19. And so I think that's when I was like, I like this. So I went to school, but then I ended up being a realtor because my entire family is like in real estate, they're realtors, loan officers and all that.
And that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, what got you into real estate? Like your family or?
No one told me to be a realtor.
Yeah.
I think because in high school I worked with my dad at his office when he was at a mortgage company, and I was his receptionist like throughout high school.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I started liking the business. I worked with my dad and my uncle, who's also a loan officer, but they were in different companies. So I kind of learned the ropes, but I didn't like the loan side of things. I liked the real estate side.
And that's what I was gonna ask. Like, what made you decide being a loan officer instead of being a realtor? Like, what was the one thing that you didn't like, or what was the thing you liked the most?
I didn't like sitting in a desk all day. Like I don't like to feel stuck in one place. I like to be out, and I'm a people person. So I like being around people, talking to people. And with the loan officers, like they talk to them on the phone.
Yeah.
But we're more, they get to know us more.
More interaction
Yes,
with people.
a lot more
face to
interaction.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm the exact same way. When I'm stuck at the desk all day, I'm like, man, I'm drained.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You get tired. You're just like, I don't know, and being out and about, and you just meet people. You even become friends with your clients, even though they say don't do that. But a lot of my clients are my friends.
No, it's having a healthy relationship with your clients. I don't see anything wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this business is relationship driven. So if you have good relationships, good friendships with people, they're gonna come back to you over and over again.
Yeah, and I think the majority of the time too, it's up to the realtor to get the referrals because they call us before their loan officer. you know, because we're the ones that hung out with them
Right.
and looked at houses
Oh,
and talked to
100%.
them, you know,
Yeah.
so they know us more, even though the loan officer can be amazing, but, you know, they got to know us.
And now that you've been in the business for this, how long have you been licensed? How long has it been?
Oh my God, like 8 or 9 years, I think.
Time flies,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
time flies. Yeah.
I think when I met you, there was no children in your life.
No children, no boyfriend, no no husband, obviously. Yeah. I was single and I was just
Yeah,
living
working,
life.
right?
Yeah.
Working and living life,
living
living your own schedule.
My set, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's like my schedule's crazy
How
now.
how old are your girls now?
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how is it?
It's like
So how is it being a realtor, a wife, and mom of 2 girls, 3 and 4?
I don't even have words to describe it. It's like it's just like it's crazy because everyone asks me how do you do it?
Right.
You know, because as a realtor, your schedules, you don't have a set schedule. So it's not like I can say, "Oh, I'm going to work from 8 to 5 or whatever. Put them in a daycare." No, like some client might want to see a house right now and another one tomorrow. So I've just learned to manage it, you know, like it's hard, but I've learned to just manage it.
Right.
You know, like
You got to figure it out.
you have to figure it out. Like there's nothing I can say, you know, because people ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? I want to be a realtor, but I'm a mom, and how do you do it? And my answer is like, I don't know, I just do it. You know, like you just make it happen, like however you can make it happen.
Yeah, I remember when our little one, our oldest, but when she was little,
They're still little to us always.
right? When she was 2, 3, I mean, Karina was working, and Elizabeth, we will take her to this daycare. Like we had no choice, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we had nobody near close to us that was able to take care of her, so we had to, you know, take her to daycare until, and that kind of helped her out to, you know, learn a lot of stuff. So
They're very expensive now, though.
I know.
They're very expensive. Like it literally cost me the same to put her in a daycare than it would to put her in like Montessori school, which is already expensive. So, you know, thankfully I have my mom, but
Is she the one that's always helping you with your
she's
girls?
always helping me. I mean, her and my husband, but you know, my husband works.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that is the main provider.
Yeah.
So Sundays is really his only day off. So I can't, you know, say, hey, you can't work today because I have to show house, you know?
Right. Yeah. So thankfully your mom is.
So thankfully my mom and my dad,
Yeah.
and they love them.
I'm sure they do.
They do, they're like the favorites. Like my kids never want to come home. They love being at their house.
And they are their first grandchildren.
Yeah,
I
first
suppose?
grandchildren.
Well, that's awesome. So, all right. So now, Marty, you know, being in real estate and doing everything that you do, what do you like to do in your free time?
I don't even have free time anymore.
Do you even have a hobby? You know, do you even have a hobby?
I think the gym's always been my go-to, you know, and I think that in this business, you have to you don't have to work out because you want to look better. It's almost just like for your mental well-being.
Your mental health.
Like, honestly, because it's the only place, like the other day I went to get a massage on my birthday, and I'm getting the massage and my mind is literally like, oh my gosh, I have to call this client. If I don't call this client, like, you know, like I can't shut my mind off. Even when I'm sleeping, I think, you know? So the only time that I don't think is at the gym. I notice, like, because you're counting your reps.
Yeah.
You know, even though I check my phone in between sets,
Yeah.
it's the only time that I don't think.
Yeah.
So the gym, really.
The gym, that's your hobby, your me time.
Yeah.
Do you normally like to go in the mornings or in the evenings?
Whenever I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, I have time. Let's go.
When I have time, because you know, sometimes, like, let's say the kids go to sleep really late and I'm just like drained, right? Because I had a long day. Like, I'll go later in the day. But I do like going in the morning more. And I used to go at 4 or 5 in the morning just because I feel like it gets you going for the day.
Yeah.
You know, like I love the feeling. Like it's hard to get up, but once you're there,
it's done.
It's the best. Yeah.
And I think, and that's the thing about having, you know, kids at such a, you know, having kids at 3, 4 years old, it's hard to manage your schedule.
It is. And being there for them, right? Because a lot of times I'm like, wait, guys, I'm writing an offer. Hold on, you know? And they know, like, they know what an open house is. Like, they know all this stuff, you know? But then I feel bad because they want my attention. So I'm trying to make sure I'm being a good mom and they have my attention and I'm still doing my job. You
I mean,
know?
the best part is that you manage to still follow through with the things that you have to do, right? Like simple as working out,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, you don't wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning because you have a 3 and 4 year old, but you're still doing it.
I'm still doing it.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have you're not putting an excuse in front of you not to follow through with the things that makes you feel good, right? And that's, I mean,
And a lot of people make excuses.
I know,
You know?
like, well, no, I have
Yeah.
my kids, and well, I'm sure there's gyms that they still have daycares. Do they? I don't even
They do.
know.
And honestly, I would go, like, let's say in the afternoon, like, let's say one day I finish my work early and I don't have anything to do until later, I would go to the gym. But people are always taking their kids sick, and then my kids get sick.
Yeah.
So I try not to do that anymore because it just got to the point where my kids were always getting sick.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, let me just go when I can go by myself.
They're just building their immune system. So
I know that too, but I was just to the point where I'm like last week, I was going all week and then they got sick. So this week, I haven't gone these days because they got sick.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, and more now than ever, that it's just the flu is out there.
The flu is crazy right
so many people
now.
are getting sick. I think we have had a couple of team members here at the office that they just been out because you get sick. I was sick a couple of weeks ago.
Me too.
And it takes me out for a couple of days. Did you get was it regular flu or was it
Flu
like
A?
What's
Flu A is the worst one, I guess.
Okay.
I don't even think I've ever had that, and I felt like I was dying. Yeah, like I went to the doctor and they tested me. I came out positive for flu A, and they're like, okay, you have to go home and we'll call you. And I was like, I feel like I'm dying, guys. Like it was worse than COVID. Like I never even felt that bad with COVID, but I guess it's flu A.
Did you get COVID too?
I got COVID too. Yeah, it's flu A, flu B, then COVID. So flu A is the worst one you can get.
Jeez.
So
yeah. So when was it? A couple of weeks ago.
And I got it from Disneyland. 100%.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone got sick after Disneyland.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people, germs. It's tend to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of weeks I was here at the office, and all of a sudden I got nauseous.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was like the stomach flu. It was weird. And I had to like leave the office, stay home, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So what's going on with Marty nowadays? What are you up to? What are you working on? I know you've been doing commercials for your listings, right?
Yeah.
How's that working out?
So I'm actually the first person who got offered to be on a TV show called Arizona's Real Estate Essentials on ABC 15 and Hulu. So only about 50 agents in Arizona are a part of this. So it just helps me give your listings a lot more exposure, right? So you're getting 40,000 plus views on your listing in one day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And more if it's a high-end property, right?
Exactly.
That they normally take a bit longer to move.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the exposure is huge.
Yeah, like that Scottsdale listing that I had, it was previously listed with an agent for over a year, or almost a year actually. And, the seller called me and he said, hey, I saw that you're doing this. Tell me more about it. So I told him like the exposure that I would get him, and it sold within 70 days, I believe it was, which isn't bad, right? Because I had to go back in, remarket it, restage it, do everything all over again. And we had like over 50 showings.
Nice.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad for, being up in the 2 millions.
In the 2 millions, sitting on the market a year prior, and then you coming in with with a market strategy, and be able to move it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm proud of myself for that because I've been wanting to hit that market for so long, and I think I would compare myself. So many people that are new reach out to me, and they're like, "But this person on my team is doing so good." And I'm like, yeah, Ruben's doing good too. And I wish I was doing like Ruben. So it's like everyone's always going to look up to you, but you're looking up to somebody else. And we can all get there. It's just a matter of, getting yourself out there and putting the work in.
Exactly. It's all about putting the work because, I like to compare our team, not necessarily myself, but our team to teams that are doing bigger things, and not comparing myself on a way that I'm like I don't like them. More in the way like how can we get there?
How can we get there? Exactly, right. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, from where I came from, and then in 2008 when the market crashed, my parents lost everything, literally. So it was like I was still young. I was still, I didn't know where I wanted to be yet. to now everything I ever wanted and wrote down, because like I write down, like my
Your goals,
manifestations and my
yeah.
goals.
Your
I have everything. I literally just bought a Porsche Cayenne GTS
oh,
like 3 days ago, and I never thought I would have that. Like I didn't
congrats.
even think I would have the Mercedes I had, like the CLA 250.
Yeah.
I never thought I would have any of the things that I have now.
And here's the thing, like sometimes we use materialistic things, but that's an achievement that we wanted. That's like
Yeah.
something that I wanted for me, right?
Yeah.
It's more like a me gift. That yeah, you work so hard, but at the same time you gotta,
Yeah.
give yourself a little gift.
You do. And honestly, it's like, is the car what makes me happy? No, right? Because at the end of the day, it's how you feel inside.
Yeah.
Because I went through a time, when was it? Like last year, where it was just like, I was feeling like depressed, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And I started kind of putting it out there. And then a lot of like women or even just like men would be like, I feel this way too, but nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
And I think it was more so because I was finally hitting those levels that I wanted, but I felt like, I'm like, oh my God, I have kids. So I was putting a lot on my shoulders.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, because a lot of pressure, because I want to do everything. That's just how I've always been. But I want to be like a full-time mom and a full-time realtor and a full-time wife. So I want to do everything at the same time, right? But it just came down to like, okay, what really makes me happy? The material stuff doesn't make you happy. At the end of the day, like my daughter got super sick. Health is number one.
Yeah. 100%.
Period.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to like realize that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the stuff that we are able to buy for ourselves, that's just a quick, that's just an achievement that we were
Yeah.
able to accomplish, which is gonna make us feel good. Is it something
Yeah.
that is gonna make us feel good forever? No. What
No.
makes us feel good is, bringing value to our family. Make sure that
Yeah.
our family is healthy. Like one of the things that I think about on a almost every day, right? And more when I feel a lot of that pressure that you were talking about, pressure, doubt, fear.
And that's real estate.
Yeah,
Literally.
exactly.
For all of us.
right?
Because it's crazy that you're telling me that,
Yeah.
because I think like, am I the only one that feels this way? But then I'll talk to other people and they're like, I just feel like this person's doing better than me, but did I ever think I was going to sell a house that was worth 2 million?
Right.
And now almost 4?
Yeah.
Like it blows my mind, like how far I've came.
And that's the biggest thing, like your capacity of being able to handle a bigger task, bigger obstacles. You just get better at it.
Yeah,
right?
you do. And it's just a learning process, because I'm still nervous about it. I can get a house that's like 500 and then I get this seller that's so crazy,
Like
and I'm
2
just
mil,
like,
yeah.
it's just, you just have to do it.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly right. Sometimes we just gotta think about this. Like, I'm only dealing with another human, right? I'm only dealing with my own thoughts are the ones who are, putting this
Yeah.
pressure on me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so crucial for like you said, like even working out, like gets me out of my own head.
But like working out, like when you first started working out, you couldn't lift and you were almost embarrassed to go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Now you just go in like, yeah, I can do
this.
this.
Yeah.
And with real estate, I'd be like, oh my God, these millionaires are probably so smart. Like maybe they know more than me. I would think that stuff.
You would think, right?
I would think that stuff. And then I would get done with the deal and they would like compliment me, like, you did such an amazing job. And I was like, I did? Like, because it's hard to, sometimes believe in yourself, I guess.
And sometimes we do put in so much work that we just see that it's normal, right? But when somebody, like when I see you and everyone from our team like put in all this work to accomplish what you have accomplished, it is huge.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do this.
No.
Right? And people think that, you're a realtor, you sell house and you get
You make
paid
a lot of money. No.
It's the complete opposite.
And the hustle that it takes, like the blood, sweat, and tears, because we've all cried.
Yeah.
We've all like lost a deal. We've all, have been through different markets. Like it's not easy.
No. Now, one time I woke up at midnight. I was feeling sick in my stomach. I had a deal that was like a domino effect of so many other deals. It was horrible. But we're here. And
Yeah.
and that's what matters, And learning from what we went through and how to get better is the biggest lesson that I think we can learn.
Yeah. And not compare yourself to people.
You know, like I said, comparison is not bad
If
if you want to get to a point, but always think about comparing yourself with your own self. You know, that's the biggest thing I think. Like, man, like how was I doing yesterday? How was I doing last month, last year? So once you start like thinking more about yourself and you're
Yeah.
like, all right, I think I'm doing better than what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot, like, I have people, like other women, that became realtors, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I look up to you. And then I'm like, really? Why? You know, because I'm just like, I don't see myself where I want to be yet. Right. And maybe I'm being too hard on myself because they're always like, we always hit a goal, like, and we're never happy. We want more and more and more and more and more.
Right.
And my husband's always told me, like, you, ever since I've met you, you stress out about these deals and you always make it happen anyway. And then you don't believe in yourself, but all these people that are strangers are believing in you. Right.
Yeah.
So that was always my thing. Like, and I still struggle with it, but I think I just always want to be an overachiever.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And it's a good. I mean, we're dealing with people's homes. We have a reason to stress.
To stress, yeah.
Like,
Thankfully, I don't have gray hairs, but I don't know because I dye my hair.
I have a lot of gray
Really?
hairs.
I haven't had any yet.
No,
Like, my dad doesn't have any, which
No?
is crazy.
I think by age 45, my entire hair will be white.
Really?
I
And
think
how old
so.
are you?
41.
Oh, you're still young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've been doing this for 20 years.
I know.
So, a long time.
I know.
All right. So we have a question for you, Marty.
Okay.
All right. If you could talk to a 20-year-old Marty and give some advice, what would that be? If you go back and talk to the 20-year-old Marty, what would the one advice that you can say, like, Marty, you should have done this, or you could have done this, or maybe there is no advice?
Don't date young. Don't date young, because then you have a boyfriend, then you don't focus. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
No, but I guess like I would probably say, don't let people judging you affect you.
Okay.
You know, because I had family that would kind of put me down. Not my parents. My parents are amazing. Like, some aunts that would be like, you know, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. And just kind of make me feel like I wasn't good enough sometimes. So I think it's more, don't listen to, you know, anyone. Like, you can really do whatever you want to do
Right.
if you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about what everyone else thinks about you.
Don't worry about the noise.
Yeah.
Close the noise, right?
Yeah. Because, you know, and a lot of times it's because some of those people don't want you to do better than them if you're doing the same thing.
They see you more as a competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to say that people are haters. Like, I feel like that's stupid. Like, why do you hate on me? Because you can do the same thing I'm doing. I'm just putting in the work. Are you?
Right. Exactly.
You know?
And I mean, people do hate.
I know. I'm trying to say this in a nice way.
people do hate, but it's okay, because if somebody's hating on you, it's because you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. So I always say, let people hate, and eventually they'll become your fans.
Yeah.
If you put in the work consistently, they'll eventually will be reaching out to you, Marty, and asking for an advice. So not that they mean wrong.
Yeah.
That's just the how natural humans react.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, like, if you have somebody that is hating on you or have, you know, brought you down in the past, more than likely they'll become your fans because they see that you are unstoppable. No matter what comes your way, you're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude that Marty has, and as long as you continue that path, like, they'll be rooting for you eventually. Right?
Well, I hope so. Don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater. Yeah, one of the biggest things that I preach is, don't assume and don't judge. You don't know what people are going through.
That's number one thing, because it's like nobody knows like what you go through.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows that, oh, I was feeling some type of way last year, because who knows why I was feeling that way. You know, it's postpartum sometimes does last longer than people think, and a lot of people don't talk about that. And I was still putting on a happy face. I was still going to the gym at 5 a.m. I wasn't sitting at my house crying, like, you know, just waiting for things to happen. Like I had to make them happen because nobody was going to make them happen
For
for me.
you.
Exactly. And it's like I have a husband that's, very supportive. My kids are amazing. My family is amazing. Why did I feel that way? I don't know.
Right.
So but I got myself out of it. Only you can help yourself.
I mean, with the support of your family, of course. And sometimes you don't have the family that is supporting you. So at that point, it's like it's on you.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I have heard in the past, and this saying always kind of brings me back to reality, and that's basically everything happens to you because of you.
Yeah.
So whatever comes your way, you brought it up to yourself. So if you somewhat, besides getting sick,
I know.
besides getting sick, but maybe like sometimes I get complaints about people because they have their kids doesn't allow them to do certain things. Well, you're the one that decided to have kids, right? Or different situations. The moment that you start being a victim, and being victimized for what's happening to you, start doing something about it.
People complain too much, and I'm like, but trust me, like we've all been through a lot of things. We just don't put the nice things out there, or we don't put the bad things out there. I mean, So people complain way too much because I have people complain to me like, oh, but my kids. And I'm like, my kids are yelling in the back while I'm talking to somebody closing a deal. And I just say, I'm sorry, I have kids. And people understand.
They do.
They understand. Everyone has kids for the most part. So it's like, like I've taken my daughter to an open house. I asked the client, hey, my daughter wants to come with me. She's 4. She loves open houses. And I actually get more people signing the sheet because of her.
Yeah, right. Like, she's the one that is in charge of everybody signing.
Yeah, and everybody's like, hi, Bella, how are you? Bye, Bella. Like, they don't even pay attention to me. Yeah. I dress her up like she's a realtor. That's awesome. Literally, and people love it.
Now, we have another question for you.
Okay.
All right, let's see. What was your who was your biggest influence to stay in this business?
You, Ruben.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
that's why I always come back. Yeah, because you know what? Like, what I love about the team is that everyone here is so positive, and you knew when I wanted to, like, let's say, try a new place, like a new company, like you were still supportive and you always had the door open for me. And if I called you, you would still answer because I just wanted to kind of just see what was out there and learn new things. But the team here is just unmatched.
Thank you for the feedback, and I appreciate it because once again, like, I don't know what you're going through, right? Personally, so I don't want to assume, and maybe if there's something within our team that it's not working, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to burn that bridge because if you ever want to come back, like, our doors are always open.
I'm proof.
So we appreciate you. Now, what would a 70-year-old Mardy tell you current Mardy? And that's one of the biggest things that you got to think about, right? Because right now, doing great. You have your girls, your husband, your house. Everything's moving like it's supposed to, right? But what about when you're 70? Have you ever thought about, like, okay, when I'm 70, what would I tell the Mardy right now?
1, I'm glad you took care of your skin because I won't have a lot of wrinkles. Honestly, I would probably say that I'm proud of you because I never thought I would be where I am now, and I'm not finished. Like, there's still so much more I'm going to accomplish. And even just from the time I got married to now, which has only been 5 years or 4 years, that's where my growth has been, my main growth. Right. So, I was partying when I was younger. I was, I closed the house. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Let's go celebrate.
Yeah. But now I have a family. I have responsibilities. Now we want, to buy another house. We want to be closer into town. So I would honestly say I would tell myself that I'm proud of you because you did everything that you said you would, right? And I obviously want to pass that on to my kids. Like, I don't want them to feel like, if you're judged, who cares? Like, you can do anything you want. Yeah. And you're going to do it. Right. Period. And they kind of already had that attitude. That mentality. Which I didn't have because, I think from being Mexican, our parents kind of scare us. Right. Like, no, don't do this because this can happen. Don't do that because this can happen. It's always like, this can happen, but then if I don't try, I'm not going to know if I can do it or not. Put in a little fear. Like, I think that's just our, you know, that's just how we were all kind of raised. I feel like we always, our grandma.
I mean, we were raised on a cycle, right?
Yeah.
On a cycle that, all right, you do good, and all of a sudden you bring yourself down. You do good, and then you bring yourself down. You could
Yes.
like I grew up in that kind of cycle. It
But I
wasn't.
think that's a lot of us. A lot of us. Like
Yeah.
that's just our, how our background is.
Yeah, we sabotage our progress by having an argument, by over celebrating, right? Doing things that like,
Yeah.
shoot, now that's gonna take me down another week, month, or depending on what you're going through. So sabotaging the progress. So that's huge.
Yeah.
So great advice to the current Marty from the 70-year-old Marty.
Current advice. Oh, great advice.
Great
Oh, okay, I was
advice.
like current advice.
No, great advice. Okay, one last question so we can end our podcast. And everyone that is watching this show, if you want to share it with your friends and family, like and subscribe, that'll be awesome. Marty, share with your friends.
Yep.
Okay. We have the last one. What are your top 3 tips for growing your social media account for a new realtor? Like, what would you say? What would you like to share to a new realtor, or what they can do to grow social media? Because it does work, right?
It does work. I would say post. Like, don't be afraid to post. Don't be. Now that the algorithm is kind of weird, I've noticed if I post one thing, somebody doesn't see it for a few days. It's just so right now it's like post as much as you want to, especially the house tours. People love the house tours. Another thing that has been working for me lately is post the lifestyle. It's not even really the house that's selling, it's the lifestyle. So like I posted that Cannon Beach.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, I did.
That got like almost 1 million views on TikTok. I've never even had a video that blew up like that on TikTok.
That's awesome.
So, and that was literally just showing the lifestyle around that specific location, right? So I would say, post the houses, post the lifestyle, and just make sure you post about yourself too. Because nobody wants to see just like houses. Like they want to know who you are. Yeah. So honestly, just post and make sure you're posting. Even if you don't post on your stories daily, that you're working, that you're at the gym, whatever. People want to relate to you.
And what do you do when, because there's always people making rude comments or mean comments? And
I delete it.
Yeah.
And I block it.
Like
because,
moving on.
I literally delete it and block it because I'm like, you have nothing better to do than to waste your time and energy to be rude to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, if I think something bad about someone, I just don't post it or I don't say it.
Yeah.
I don't need to hurt anyone's feelings. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? So I delete it and I block it.
Great advice.
I'm like, I don't need you on my page with your bad vibes. It's the Good Vibes podcast.
The Good Vibes podcast. This is it. We don't accept any negative,
no bad
negative
vibes.
And last question to end our episode is, what's your favorite book? Are you much of a book reader or Audible?
More Audible. What was that book called? It's a Joseph Murphy book, and I forgot the name.
Or maybe a podcast. Do you listen to a podcast? Do you like to listen to
Not really.
No, more of audiobooks?
Yeah, more audiobooks. Yeah. Anything by Joseph Murphy, because it's a lot about like self-development. I like a lot of self-development books because a lot of people want to jump into like how to make money, how to sell real estate, but it all starts with like your mind and like you attract what you want to accomplish, right? So I do read a lot of like Joseph Murphy self-help books, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that book is called. The Power of, I think it's that one. Yeah, I think it is that one. So The Power of the Mind by Joseph Murphy.
Okay.
And I've read that one a few times.
It's crazy how we go back and read the book or listen to the book over and over again, and every time that we listen to it or we read it, we get a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I can read a book right now or listen to a book, and then 5 years later, I'm on a different stage of my life.
Yeah.
That can also help me. There's one book that I always, try to have the team listen to or read. I don't know if you have. It's called The Big Leap.
Oh, I have it and I haven't finished it.
Oh my God, it's such a good book. And it talks about, sabotaging your progress. What do you like when you go out of town and you get upset at your family? You plan for a trip for a long period of time just to go and get into an argument.
Yeah.
As opposed to, enjoying yourself or yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, why is this? Because you want to bring yourself down. And that's the cycle that we want to stop, right?
Let's stop. Yeah.
But, overall, fear, doubt, pressure is never going to end. As a matter of fact, if you're having those feelings, it's because there is some growth that is happening.
Yeah.
And that's when we grow a higher capacity.
Yeah, because when you're young, you're just like, I just want to have fun. My parents pay the bills. And I'm like, that was a nice feeling.
At what age? At what age did you get your first job?
I think I was in junior high. That's when I started with my uncle first at his mortgage business. I was just his assistant, and I would there was still filing cabinets, and it was so old school. Yeah, like the floppy disk. I feel so old.
I mean, honestly, that wasn't even that long ago.
It wasn't. Yeah. Like, I literally remember going to the gym with like my Walkman. And I put it on a treadmill, and I'm running, like thinking I'm so cool. And this big CD is like sitting there.
Right. I mean, that was kind of cool.
I know.
And it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
So.
And now it's just on your phone.
Marty, thank you for being part of our show.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you. I think we got to know more about you, and I think people are gonna relate to you more than ever. So we appreciate you coming over, and until next time.
Bye, guys.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and please make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.